We're back to Bloomberg Markets. Big tech has had a big year. Themes like artificial intelligence have dominated the market discussion. But how much of that trickles down to Canada's startup scene? Angel investing, for example. Now, the levels have cooled off in the past year, but our next guest is anticipating renewed interest in the years ahead, and he's connected to thousands of angel investors across the country. Claudio Rojas is the CEO of the National Angel Capital Organization, and he joins us in studio. Nice to see you.
John, great to be back.
I feel like the last time we spoke, there was a lot of pessimism in tech, and all of a sudden, it's the only thing people want to talk about. What's been your general takeaway, first of all, on the big, giant, global tech conversation, and certainly AI a big part of that so far this year?
You're right that generative AI has driven renewed interest into all things technology, and there's a growing recognition that these new technologies are going to increase efficiency. They're efficiency-driving technologies, and they will enable new possibilities. And this is meaningful in terms of investment returns and the opportunity just to really lean in and expose your portfolio to growth.
What are the biggest questions? Being an angel investor yourself, but sort of helping to connect this big network of angel investors, what are the questions they have right now? Because on the one hand, I would imagine they're very interested in anything that has AI literally in the company name, but we're coming off a period of uncertainty within tech.
Right, so we recommend staying within your circle of competence. And so focusing in on areas where you already have core capabilities, where you can tool up relatively quickly. And then, of course, things like AI and other technologies, Apple announced Vision Pro, they will intersect with virtually all companies, no matter what industry. So stay within your comfort zone, but at the same point, go risk on in terms of these opportunities for growth.
And what's the reason for that? These companies have an opportunity because sometimes what's amazing about the companies that you're looking at, it can literally be at the idea stage, but how do you know if they're going to be the next Apples of the world, if you will?
Right. So one is that you need to get involved early. You need to inform yourself. You need to get educated on these different sectors and these different areas for growth. And so you don't want to go all in at the earliest stage. The startup stage is where you get informed, you build relationships with entrepreneurs, and then you find companies that can fit within a broadly diversified portfolio within the asset class. And so we've talked about this before. Your exposure to the innovation economy should be somewhere between 5 to 7%. And that includes angel investing, venture investing. There are some extraordinary venture funds across the country that have expertise putting capital at risk, and then growth capital, and of course, private equity comes later.
So we have heard already that AI is an area where Canada has a lot of talent, but when it actually comes to the angel investing realities, I would imagine it's a much wider swath of tech-related companies that are in Canada.
Absolutely. We have to remember that generative AI, which is producing extraordinary returns for investors that got in early, there were many, many years in which it didn't seem like a good sector, like a good opportunity. And so we're talking, 10 years, 15 years ago, investments were made that are now beginning to bear fruit in a really significant way. And so the way to think about the earliest stage of the ecosystem is that you're planning for a 7 to 10 year time horizon. And it could take a little bit longer, but these extraordinary opportunities, the time to invest is now. You want to be the individual investor that invested in Amazon before it went public. And that's how you see extraordinary wealth creation generated.
One of the other big areas that we talked about, even today we highlighted Tesla and the market love affair with that company's roadmap, and we obviously see a huge transition towards electric vehicles. This is a country that traditionally has relied very heavily on our resources industry. The subject of clean tech, where's it at in Canada, and do you see promising investment opportunities there too?
So clean tech increased significantly. So we've just released some data related to our annual report, and angel investors doubled down. So the amount of investment in clean tech doubled over the previous year. And so that tells us that clean tech is moving through the funding continuum, through the pipeline. So companies at the early stage are being funded, they'll grow into the venture capital portfolios, and then they'll become the IPO success stories of the future. And it's interesting that you mentioned Elon Musk. He was an angel investor in Tesla. We think of him as an investor. He became one of the wealthiest people in the world by virtue of that check that he wrote into Tesla. He effectively stepped into an operator role and has seen the upside potential and transformed that industry in a very meaningful way.
A final question just about health-related investing. This is a complicated story in Canada where a lot of people often will say, how come we can't work more tech into our very convoluted healthcare system? Is that the kind of subject that a lot of young entrepreneurs are trying to tackle right now?
Absolutely. So entrepreneurs are innovative. They're not held back by the assumptions or the legacies of the past. So it's really important that our existing infrastructure look for ways to engage with the innovation economy so that we can leverage these new ideas, these new ways, these new technologies in order to increase the efficiencies of our healthcare system. We have a lot to be proud of. Healthcare is very close to all of our hearts as Canadians, and the innovation economy is the almighty enabler to ensure that we can continue to have the extraordinary healthcare system that we do as we move into the future.
Okay, and obviously, since you're talking about 7 or 10-year time horizons, that there could be a downturn here that we're talking about, but you have to be ready for that as an angel investor.
Downturns are the best time to invest, as Warren Buffett likes to say. Right? You need to lean in hard as an investor. It's the best time when the rest of the world is going risk off. You need to be going risk on, and that's where you'll see the returns.
Okay, Claudio, nice to see you. Thanks very much.
Thanks, John.
Claudio Rojas, CEO of the National Angel Capital Organization. Coming up, that's